Welcome everybody to another exciting episode of HomeKit Insider. You've got me, your host as always, Andrew O'Hara, and we have a big episode today. Lots of stuff to talk about. I hope everyone's been doing great, but let's go ahead and jump into the news. Starting out with something that I wrote an entire piece about. I rambled for quite a bit because I find this super fascinating, and if anyone's going to be as excited and jazzed about it as I am, it's going to be all of you. So Steve Mosser, who is a contributing editor at Mac Rumors, found in the iOS source code references to a new feature called adaptive temperature. Right? Now, this was not something Apple announced at WWDC. This is not something that Apple is advertising, is talking about. It basically doesn't exist as far as Apple is concerned, which is kind of what we expected with iOS 26 this year. After last year and Apple kind of having to delay a few features, and then they missed those deadlines, like the new version of their assistant that we have talked about. Apple was pretty strict on only showing off things that were going to ship, right? So basically everything Apple showed at WWDC is going to arrive in September, which is amazing. But you know what that means, right? It means Apple is working on quite a few extra features that in prior years it probably would have shown off and announced, and then they just wouldn't have been ready. So I'm really excited because what this means is we're going to be getting subsequent iOS 26 updates, like iOS 26.1, 26.2, 26.3, 26.4, that are going to have substantial new and surprising features that we haven't seen yet. And adaptive temperature may be one of those. So of course this is basically Apple's version of adaptive lighting, but now for adaptive temperature, right? So the adaptive lighting on your smart home lights, your Apple Home lights, will change the temperature of the lights throughout the day based on the time of day, right? So during the morning, it's gonna be a little bit warmer. During the day, it's gonna be cool, keep you focused, like that blue light, and then warm down, kind of like the reds or whatever, as you're going into the evening to slow your body down, get you ready for bed, get you all comfortable, remove those blue lights and everything. So that's the adaptive lighting. Now Apple's doing something similar or working on something similar called adaptive temperature. The way this will work is going to be using AI, kind of like Workout Buddy, right? That uses a bunch of on-device intelligence to give you metrics and do things for your workout, but can use those AI things to help predict stuff for your temperature. So it's going to be, in short, like the easy version of this, it's going to change your temperature when you are home versus when you're away, right? That's the simplest version of this, but it does more than that. For example, you can have it predict when you're going to be home. Right? So it already knows kind of when you're going to be someplace. You see like the frequent places you visit on your iPhone, and sometimes when you get in your car, it's like, hey, are you going to the bar? Because it's Wednesday night and you do this. And you probably do. It knows where you're going to be at that time. Or it can pull information from your calendar, your text messages, your emails, all that information that's already done on device using like that on-device AI processing. So it can take all that information and apply it to the thermostat in your home. It's going to know when you're about to be home and can change your thermostat before you get there. It can even know maybe how long it takes your temperature in your house to get to a desired temperature. Like it could potentially take some of that into account as well. There's no reference of that, but I'm just thinking with the AI stuff, that is something that it could be able to do. So that when you arrive home, your temperature at your house is comfortable. Right now, it has been insanely hot around here. Like we've had record temperatures. So having, the AC running constantly is kind of crazy. So I love the idea of having it change to something else when I'm away and then cooling back down when I'm home. Now, Ecobee, Nest, many others already have features like this, but they're not as proactive, right? They're tracking your location and they said, oh, you left the house, shut it down or switch to a different temperature. Then it's like, oh, you've arrived home. Let's go ahead and turn that on for you. So it does those types of things. But with Apple's predictability, the AI engines and all that, to be able to know when you're going to be home and then automatically adjust it ahead of time so that when you get there, it's all comfy cozy for you, whether that's warm or cool, depending on the year. That's pretty nice. Additionally, it can do this thing for clean energy. So when there's like dirtier energy or more expensive energy, it can adjust your thermostat, a couple points up or down to take that into account. So that way you're not maybe paying as much, right? Which I think is very beneficial. Now, some people already commented when I did my article on this saying, oh, the last thing that I want is Apple to automatically change my thermostat, and I'm sitting on the couch and like, why is it 76 degrees in here? That is not going to be the case, right? We're looking at maybe a couple points. So instead of having your home set at 69 in the summer, maybe it's going to bump it up to 70, right? Just that extra temperature degree can help save you money, can save energy, all of that kind of stuff. But it's going to be a little amount, so not too much that you're going to really notice it unless you're really, temperature sensitive, but trying to save you a little bit when it can. And of course, it's going to be an optional feature, but there are code references to that clean energy adaptive mode as well, which I really like. Ecobee does offer a version of that, and I have that enabled on ours, and I don't mind at all. I never really notice it. But now Apple's going to kind of apply that to any thermostat that works with Apple Home, and I think it can be even smarter because it's able to tie in to all the data that's on your phone, your location data, the predictive stuff, the AI stuff. It's even going to be able to tie into things like Energy Kit, right? Energy Kit is something Apple announced with iOS 26, and Energy Kit is designed for manufacturers of thermostats and EV chargers to tap in to know when you have like greener energy or more affordable energy available to you. It'll basically know your energy rates for those that are able to tie it in to their energy provider. So Apple had it a while ago. Apple had the ability to tie your energy provider to the Home app, and it's supposed to show you your energy rates and when it's like more and less expensive to run your energy, and then you can like predict things like when to charge your EV or when to do laundry, things like that. So far, there's been like pretty sure one provider out in California, so it's not exactly, spreading like wildfire yet, but it is a way for Apple to have that feature into the Home app. And now Energy Kit allows app manufacturers and product manufacturers to tie into that information as well and then use it in their apps. So I think it's really cool how this is all starting to come into play. Matter has had a big focus on energy, right? We've seen Matter adding things like EV chargers and energy monitoring and all this kind of stuff. And now all of a sudden we're seeing Apple really putting this AI emphasis and back-end emphasis on APIs and energy and temperature and all of this kind of stuff. So it's all starting to come together. This is like one of the, start to be an AI push for Apple in the smart home. We have no idea when this feature is going to ship. I couldn't even tell you, like obviously not with iOS 26 in the fall. What we could see is any of those point updates. So point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4. If I had to guess, if I had to put my money on something, you guys were forcing me to do it, I would say maybe it comes out with iOS 26.4 in the spring, along with the next generation version of Apple's voice assistant and its smart display, right? It can really push like, hey, we have all this new smart home stuff. We have these new smart home features. We have adaptive temperature. We have next gen Apple Assistant. I almost said the name. All of that stuff kind of all at once. So that is a possibility as well. That is where I would put my money. But I'm really excited by this. This sounds really cool. I'm really hyped on it. I think it's going to be a very useful feature, especially for people who don't have like the high-end thermostats. Like you don't have to have a learning thermostat. You don't have to have a high-end Nest or high-end Ecobee. You can get a cheaper, more affordable one. You can get an Aqara one, whatever, and then have some of these AI predictive features built into them. So we'll see. I'm excited by this. It seems really cool. I'll keep you updated as we hear more and if this thing ever becomes actually official. Next up in the news, Roomba. Roomba's out with yet another RoboVac, right? Can you guys believe it? Like, seriously, how many have they announced so far? It was like over a dozen or something this year. I'm pretty sure. It's insane. Well, this is the Roomba Max 705 combo. That's the specific model of this one. And it was just announced like a week or two ago, but it is not yet in the US. It is first launched in Europe, oddly enough, before coming to Japan and the US later this year, though nothing specific. I also couldn't find anything specific on Matter, though Roomba or iRobot has added and will support Matter on many of its high-end models, so I kind of anticipate we will see that here as well, because this is kind of one of their newer flagship 2-in-1 ultimate cleaning type robots. So what is unique about this, right? Why should we care about this? It has one unique feature that I'll tell you about in a second. So it does do mopping and vacuuming, has a roller mop on the bottom, a self-cleaning roller mop. So as it goes, it scrubs it and cleans it like as it goes, so it's not putting dirty water on your floors. And it has the auto washing dock. So it has self-emptying, heated mop, washing and drying, self-cleaning, auto refilling, all of that stuff that you want on the multi-purpose docks. But what is really cool here, what makes this unique, is the mop cover. Yeah, so imagine there's like 3 different types of like mopping robots that you'll see. One are the spinning there's spinning mop heads, right? There's 2 of them on the bottom, they'll spin. Sometimes one sticks out, but they spin around and scrub the floor. The second type that you will see is like the Roborock vibrating ones, like the Vibra-Rise system, and those go on the bottom. They vibrate really quickly. It's a pad and it vibrates, and that kind of pushes down and scrubs your floor. And then the third one is the roller mop. Now, right now, the vibrating ones, we can usually see people, they'll like lift up, or like the newer Roborocks will actually take off the spinning mops or the vibrating mop. So they just take them off completely, and that prevents them from getting any water onto your carpets, right? You don't want gross, dirty, even clean mop water, frankly, you don't want on your carpets. So that was something that they kind of figured out, but there's no real easy way to take off a roller mop. It's big enough that you can't just like slide it off the end of like in the dock itself. So Roborock here, or it's not Roborock, but iRobot, Roomba, has come up with a solution for this, where there's actually a cover that extends out and covers the entirety of the roller mop. So that way, when you go over your carpets, it doesn't get them wet. I think it's a brilliant idea, right? We've seen others, I think like Ecovacs will go ahead and like do your carpets first, so that way it doesn't have to worry about a wet mop on there. But if you had done like multiple cleanings, you could still end up having a wet mop, still track it in there. This solves that problem by completely covering the mop, giving you the advantages of a roller mop that gets all the way up to the edges of your rooms. It does a great job, but will never track any of that liquid or moisture onto your carpets. So if you're interested, comes out in the US later this year. We're looking at price point around probably $1,300 based on the conversion from where it's at in Europe. Since we're talking about RoboVacs, I want to mention this one because I'm kind of excited. Now, I like DJI quite a bit, right? The Osmo gimbals are amazing. I always travel with them when doing trade shows and stuff. I just upgraded the mics for the studio here. So not this one. This is still like my podcasting mic that I'm talking into. If you're watching the video version, it's like some blue mic, I don't know. But for video, I finally bought like the DJI Mic 2, which I do think sounds a whole lot better. These have been really nice. But now it seems like they're also known for drones, right? That's their big thing, drones. But now they apparently are going to be getting into the robotic vacuum cleaner space. Yeah, this has been leaking now for months. I have been unaware, but it is the DJI Romo, and now it has been confirmed by DJI that it will be coming. So no real specs or details of this yet, but it is a RoboVac designed by DJI. I'm super hyped on this. I have no idea what to expect. There's been a teaser image. It's the chapter art right now, so you can see it. We know a little bit about it, right, from some of the stuff that has come out. We know it is a mopping one, so it does mopping and vacuuming all in one. It has like a multi-purpose docking station based on some of like the leaked stuff that we saw. We see like a dirty water and a clean water bin, as well as an empty dust bin there, and I think a spot for cleaning solution perhaps. So there is a multi-function dock that goes along with it. A little bit different than some of the other ones that we've seen. We don't know if it's going to be in the US market, first off, and we don't know if it's going to support Matter. So 2 big unknowns here, because who knows what DJI is going to do in the robotic vacuum cleaner space. I have no idea what they know on mopping, on vacuums, like on suction, anything like that. Because it seems like you need to know quite a bit about that. So who are they partnering with to do this? I don't know. But I'm excited about it because they do know one thing really well, and that is mapping, navigation, and AI stuff. So I'm still really curious at how this is going to work out. I'm definitely going to try to be able to find one of these so that I can test it, because this sounds really interesting to me as someone who likes DJI as well as robotic vacuum cleaners. So more on that soon. But yeah, DJI Romo coming out sooner rather than later. Now, something else that I find really, really cool. We're talking TVs. The LG StandByMe 2. So the StandByMe and the StandByMe Go are two very like niche televisions that LG put out probably 2 years ago, I want to say. The StandByMe is on a stand, right? It's like a 32-inch TV or something, 27, 32-inch TV on a stand, and you could like move it around your house or office or whatever you wanted to do with it. It was really interesting. And then I ended up buying the StandByMe Go, which I still think is one of the coolest freaking things that I've ever bought. It is a portable TV in a suitcase. It's literally like a briefcase, just a briefcase that looks pretty normal, but you open it up, it's got like a fabric back on the inside. The TV moves up on an arm. It can rotate vertical. It sounds really nice. It's only 1080, which isn't great resolution, but it supports like AirPlay to cast to, so I can literally have it in the Home app to control. It has so many amazing things. It runs on WebOS, but it's also like a touchscreen. There's games. There's like ambient modes, like a turntable that you can do. You can play chess with it. I love this thing. Like, it's got its own battery in there. You can just pick it up in a little suitcase and take it with you. Not the point. I just really like the StandByMe line because it's super unique, both like the full version and the Go. I actually just watched, Faith and I watched Happy Gilmore 2 outside by the fire pit on the StandByMe Go. We just literally propped it up, set it up outside, watched the movie while enjoying a fire in the nice night air that wasn't a million degrees out. So that was really great. But now LG has the new version of the StandByMe. So it's the StandByMe 2, not the briefcase version, but the one on the post, the one on the stand. Still really cool. Here's the general specs here. 4-hour battery life. Pretty solid. Still has AirPlay, so you can cast to it, mirror, all those types of things. Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision. 2560 by 1440 display, so up from 1080p to 1440. So not full like 4K or anything like that, but at least a bump in resolution. 60 hertz, pretty standard. So it has the actual post that it stands on, but it also includes a folio cover. So you can take it off of the stand, and it has its built-in folio cover that you can like unfold and prop it up, like set it on the ground, or set it on a table, set it on the floor, like whatever you want to do. Use it like a freaking tablet. So touchscreen tablet situation. Still has that 4-hour battery built into it. So you can just literally take it off, take it with you, prop it up into a little stand, folds over, protects the front of it. You can also power it over USB-C, which means like literally you can just use like any battery pack that you have that's like sizable enough, but you can literally use just a battery pack to charge or power your TV. Amazing. And it can be used as a monitor over USB-C or HDMI. So like connect your Switch to it, your PlayStation to it. I've used my StandByMe Go a lot with my PlayStation because I can literally just plug it in anywhere I'm at and use it as a TV without having to actually use our TV. So that's really cool to see here, that you can just take it off the stand, move it around, set it somewhere, and play with it. Yeah. And finally, there's a magnetic remote that can like magnetically attach to the back. Also, nice little touch. I love this. Like, it's just so cool. And does everyone need this? No. And it's still fairly expensive because it's a niche, random product. But it's just so cool. Like, I love that somebody's doing something unique in the TV space and not everyone jumping on the bandwagon of making their version of the Samsung frame, which is still a pretty mediocre TV, even though their artwork stuff looks really good. Like, those things are really slow. I've had other bugs with them. The artwork looks amazing. The frames look amazing. Their boxes are really cool, like to hide the wires. All that's great. But they're still just kind of slow. Resolution and stuff isn't amazing on some of them. This is just something unique, cool. There's really not much else like it. So if you're in the market for something kind of crazy, like, check this thing out. Do I have the price? I had this pulled up. Here's the LG website. $1,300, right? So $1,300 for a 27-inch 1440p display. You know, not cheap. by any means. You can find a 1440p or you can find a 4K 27-inch TV at Best Buy for a couple $100. I guarantee it. But I think this has a lot more smart features built into it, as well as like the whole battery life situation and all of that. So I'm still a huge fan. I'm really excited for the new one. I managed to try it out. We'll see. Okay, we have plenty more to talk about. I have a quick hands-on to do a little bit. We have more news that I want to get to, but first, let's go ahead and take a break. Thank our sponsors for the episode. I swear, not a week goes by that I don't end up finding another Shopify website. So this recent week, I was trying to find Harrison some glasses. That little kid with his glaucoma being a little, what are you going to do? He can't see it very well out of the one eye. He needs a very strong prescription glasses. They get expensive. He's also a toddler, and he will break anything that you try to give him. So I've been trying to find him a pair of glasses. I finally found ones that I really liked, and they were pretty affordable. So I'm going through everything, and I get to the end like, this is a Shopify site. This is a Shopify checkout right here. And I immediately felt comfortable with it because I'm like, how sketchy is this site? Like, how much can you trust it? Like, I don't know. I had good reviews and everything. And then as soon as I saw it was the Shopify one, I pulled up the Shopify app. Everything checks out. Everything's good. It's a great website. Gets high ratings and all those types of things. But it's not a rating or a review or a sponsorship for a glasses website. It's for Shopify. Shopify has so many benefits, both for consumers as well as for people who are, building websites. That could be like the actual entrepreneur who is starting a business, or it can be the IT team that is building and maintaining the website, the commerce team, right? It's got tons of benefits for them as well. So if you're a small company, Shopify handles many things that you don't want to or don't know how to do. It's going to handle things like your shipping information, your taxes, where you're going to ship to, where you're not going to ship to, all that kind of stuff. You can do add-ons like package protection to make sure stuff doesn't get lost in the mail, and you can have like built-in insurance to help reduce those problems. They can handle so many of those things for you. They can handle your inventory for you. Even if you have a little small pop-up shop but you want to sell stuff online, can manage your inventory across multiple platforms so you don't oversell things and end up with disappointed customers, because that would suck. But it's also great the larger that you get, because Shopify can scale with you, right? You can start off with like an out-of-the-box website that you kind of click and point and get, and you build it on your own in a few minutes. But as you get bigger, you can have a whole custom site with all these cool things that do exactly what you want it to do. So it's a very unique and built out and customized to your exact needs. They have like this AI converting stuff to help you increase your customers. They have what they say is like the world's, I think, best converting checkout process, which I believe, because I really talk about the checkout process a lot. Once you get stuff into your cart, it's so easy to see what is in there, to apply coupons and discounts. Of course, people can make promo cards and gift cards, all that stuff. Like, that's a given. But for the consumer side of things, you recognize it. Like you find a website, you're like, I've never heard of this brand before. Is it sketchy? Is it real? Is it just all AI generated slop? And I don't know what I'm doing. Am I going to get, scammed here? Am I going to lose my money? You don't have to worry, because it's Shopify. Like, that checkout process, you recognize it. Like, they even verify you with like this 2-factor authentication. Like, so you go to it, and if you have a ShopPay account, like a Shopify account, you get into it and it's like, hey, I recognize you. I already texted you a code. If you just want to put it in here, I can go ahead and verify your identity, and we can get you through the checkout process in like 2 seconds. It's amazing. It's so fast. But you can also use things like Google Pay, Apple Pay, PayPal, all of those things if you want to as well. So you have options when it comes to how you're actually paying. Then once you've made your purchase, it can kick over the shop app, and you can track it from the time you placed it to being shipped out. Then you can leave a review. And my personal favorite part about all of this is the shop app is pretty great. It's a really cool way to find more brands that you like. I kind of use it. I'm giving this away to my friends and family that are listening to the podcast, but I do use this to find cool, unique brands for gifts, because it kind of knows some of like the bougie or unique like things that I like, and then it shows me other brands that are in that similar vein, and then it even gives you like discounts to them. I also learned from my wife that you can get like points in the shop app, and you can use those discounts and buy through Shopify website. It's a whole thing. There's too much to even talk about. So you have to try it out. Whether you're actual like person who is just shopping online, you're going to know Shopify. You're going to love it just from websites that are using it. But if you're someone who is trying to start a business or grow your business, turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for a $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/HomeKit. Go to shopify.com/HomeKit. Shopify.com/HomeKit. Then let's talk about function. Function health, super cool. I've already seen people signing up for this because I've talked about it so much, but I've talked about it in like my real life as well. Like I'm talking about it with my friends and my neighbors because I am so excited about it and I just think it's the coolest thing. So for those of you that follow the show or that know me a little bit in general, type 1 diabetic. I follow my health pretty well. I'm not the healthiest individual, but I like to at least have an idea about what's going on with my body, with my health, all that stuff. I track everything that I can here at home, right? My sleep, my weight. Like I have like the smart scale that does all that stuff and reports it back to the health app. I track my sleep through the Apple Watch. I even have like my older version of the Apple Watch and take my blood oxygen readings time to time to see how that's doing. I track this stuff over time as literally as much as I can. I'm also type 1 diabetic, so I have my glucose monitor on there, so I'm measuring my blood sugar as well and seeing how that compares to everything else. But there's only so many things that you can do, like from the comfort of your home. Function takes you to the next level. To me, like the reason why I chose function, why I think it is so cool, is because it's for people who care about their health and want to know more, but they don't want to have to deal with like trying to go through like the regular medical system is a pain in the butt. Like even right now, like my wife and I are trying to find like some specialists, and it's like so hard to even get into anyone for months, even just to get referrals for things, and everything is such a pain. But with function, you just go through, yes, sign up, then you go ahead and get your lab work done within like 2 weeks. Like I started getting results within like a day, but you'll get all the results, which is like 160 different biomarkers that they take a look at. You'll get those results, and then you'll get like clinician notes back that tell you like, hey, this is what you should watch out for. They can even give you recommendations on what to do. So like right now, we are getting like late summer going into the fall, already thinking about like kids getting sick, me getting sick, wanting to make sure that I am as healthy as I can be, and things like my immunity are as peak as they can be. Taking a look at things like vitamin D, vitamin E, zinc, ferritin, even like things like your white blood cell count and cortisol can tell you how things like stress can be pulling down your immunity. Like all of these things, the function measures these 160 plus biomarkers and then gives you what your results are, whether they're elevated, low, anything like that, whether they're normal, and then it tells you what they mean in just plain old English. So you understand what these things are and what impact they're having on your health. Right? If there's things you need to see a doctor about, like they can give you that recommendation, like based on your readings. Otherwise than that, like there are things that you can just understand to learn more about your body, to make changes that you want to make. But you can also like add on to it. There's a ton of additional tests you can go to, whether it's like early assessments like on Alzheimer's, like MRIs, like all of these things that you can do. And I just find it amazing that this amount of like medical control is in your own hands. You can see all this stuff, then get it sent over to the Function website, the Function app within days, and start learning more about yourself. I have gone through, I've just spent so much time like laying in bed and reading all of these different results about myself, and I found it fascinating. If you guys are wondering how my results came out, everything is looking very good. Basically, I had the outliers that I did have, like 20 different outliers of the 100 or so that have come back so far, have been related to like my diabetes. It's like, you may have an autoimmune disease. You're like, you're darn skippy, I do. I sure do have that right there. I also have like slightly elevated cholesterol, which is also something that I knew going into it. So it's something that I'm already watching out for, taking into account, and something else that I can monitor through function. Like I can get more tests done next year and see how they have improved, worse, like anything like that. I just love being able to monitor over time. It's really cool. So if you guys want, try it out for yourself. You can learn more and join using my link. It is visit functionhealth.com/HomeKit. HomeKit is all uppercase. I don't know if that matters, but functionhealth.com/HomeKit. Check it out. Okay, back to the news. Skechers has a new shoe with Find My. I mean, kind of. So there's this new Find My Skechers line that the shoemaker has launched. And this isn't specifically for, okay, we know what this is going to be used for, which is for tracking your kids. It is literally a child's line with a spot to put an AirTag into the sole of the shoe. Like literally, there's like a screw tightening section of the sole of the shoe to put an AirTag. You have to buy your own AirTag, then put it in, and then you can track your child. I should say, Everyone's saying this. Skechers is pointing out this is not for tracking your children. This is for finding your kids' shoes, which, fair. The amount of times that we lose shoes in this house from our toddler is more than zero. It is a frequency that happens. Like whether he is putting on our shoes or his shoes or he's leaving. We were taking the other day, we went out to the car with like one shoe on, and then we came back with the other shoe, and we ended up with like one of each of two pairs of shoes, like one of each inside and one of each in the car. And I'm not quite sure how it all happened because everything seemed normal, and he was wearing shoes at the correct times. Man, kids in shoes, it's a thing. So I understand wanting to be able to track them, but we all know that people are going to try to use this to track their kids. And we've seen other companies actually make like ones that go on your laces. This is a little more subtle because it's like being hidden. But I mean, Apple doesn't even recommend you use AirTags to track your pets, which people do. I can't imagine they'd want to encourage this for kids either. That said, I can think of worse ideas, right? I mean, people aren't going to be buying a GPS tracker because the actual GPS tracker is going to have like a monthly subscription and all those things to go along with it. And it can be a lot. So putting something in like a passive AirTag that is able to send over the location data anytime it comes in proximity with an Apple device isn't a bad idea, right? As like an extra form of security for your kid. Like, God forbid, no one wants something to happen to their kids to get lost or taken, anything like that. So like, I get a parent wanting to have that extra security on their child, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of the middle ground, right? Where people aren't going to stick GPS trackers onto their kids, especially in like some secret way or anything. And nothing is also like, not ideal. So this is kind of like gives you some sort of tracking abilities while not a lot. Like it's not real time, like, turn by turn, like all those types of things. It's still an AirTag. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's not a terrible idea. I don't hate it, but I'm also not going to tell people like this is how you track your kid and everything they can do. I mean, if your kid is old enough to be wearing some of these shoes, like they may have a smartphone or something already, even though they can't always have their smartphones with them and they may be separated them. So whatever, buy them at your own risk, but realize what you're getting with an AirTag. It's not an active GPS tracker and what those are. These shoes run like $52 to $58. They're not anything crazy. It seems like the basic price of a kid's shoes these days for like a normal like name brand thing, but they are interesting. So it's kind of it's interesting to me that they're literally endorsing putting AirTags into your shoes and doing it in a way that is like hidden, out of sight, out of mind. So yeah, good or bad. Aqara is updating some of its gear, the Aqara T2. These are their smart lights. These are getting adaptive lighting. We talked about at the top of the episode how that works with like the adaptive temperature, how the adaptive lighting already works. Just over there, firmware update these through the Aqara app, and boom, you'll have support for adaptive lighting. It'll work through Apple Home. You open up the Home app, you can enable it there, and then based on the time of day, it will adjust the temperature, the color temperature of your T2 bulbs. So always nice to see more supporting adaptive lighting, so love to see it. Hunter Douglas is also updating their smart shades, so their Power View line, these are getting Matter support. I already did see the app update come out about a week ago saying that they were adding Matter, but personally, I haven't seen it supported on my shades yet. As far as I know, Hunter Douglas shades are updated in the background, like over the air in the background, not something that you manually do through the app or anything. But I don't have like any option for my shades in particular to add to Matter. Like when I go to integrations in the app, I see like Google Home, Apple HomeKit, all those types of things, but no whatever Matter support yet. So I assume that whether it's still coming, whether it's rolling out like on a model by model basis, and like mine are like the dual open, like the top goes down, the bottom goes up. Maybe that's why mine not supported right away. Who knows? But Hunter Duck is adding Matter, which is always good. I love being able to see that because then you can control them from any other Matter switches. Like you don't even have to. You can have like a direct connection between those two, which can make it more reliable. And you can have like smart touchscreens. Maybe Brilliant, when they finally get their Matter stuff going, it'll have support there too. Though they might already support Hunter Douglas via native integration. But either way, if you got them, you can update them. This was just interesting in the news last week. So Samsung TVs randomly stopped working on their smart apps. And to me, this was just like another reason to remind everyone who's listening to the show why Apple TVs are so great. So when you have family members who are like, oh, I just use my smart TV, you can be like, here's another reason why you should ditch that for an Apple TV instead. So it seems to be related to the CDN, like the content distribution network that they use for many of their apps, because Netflix, which runs their own CDN, did not have any issues, but oddly enough, like Apple TV as well as many other apps all did have this update or this problem where they would not be able to launch. So for almost like an entire day, at least an entire day, I believe, like people who are using Samsung smart TVs, like everywhere, could not open their apps and stream things and use them as an actual TV. So it's a big thing. I would be pretty bummed by that, and I would not want to use that interface. I really like Samsung TVs, and I will use them with an Apple TV because I still think that is just the best streaming box that is out there. And I don't think too many of you guys listening or watching would argue with that. Well, then we have Bird Buddy, right? Bird Buddy, friends of the show, they've been on the podcast. We talked about them with their founder, great bird feeder. Well, they're teasing the Bird Buddy 2. So this is apparently coming later this year and has a few key upgrades that I think people will appreciate. So if you have been on the fence, maybe wait out for Bird Buddy 2. So based on their teaser, here's what we can expect. There is an image, the chapter art, you can check it out. But they have double the seed storage. Huge. I swear my birds go through that seed so fast. And the longer that I've had it, I realize it because I'm refilling this thing all the time. On top of that, refilling it isn't super easy. The way that the wire is routed around there to connect to the solar panel is a little bit awkward, and there's not a ton of space. They have a little cup that I can use to fill it, which is helpful. But like it back opens up and I fill it in, and I have spilled a few times. So the more and more I've had it, it's another thing I'm like, this is a little annoying. I think I've spilled this a few times, and it's kind of like those benefits you get from testing things for an extended period of time. So I will say that. And this new one apparently also has not only double the seed storage, but a easier refill system. So yes, please. Then they say there's a perch extender. So in the front, it can extend a little bit longer. More birds can fit, maybe, or at least just like bigger birds. I don't know. But a perch extender is built in. Easy refill station. There's dual solar panels on the top. So right now, mine has one solar panels like on the roof. It's a regular like TP shaped roof or whatever. And one side of it is normal. One side has a solar panel. The new one has double the solar panels. So it should be just recharge constantly. There are times when there's a lot of heavy traffic that I will see mine like, hey, it's at 30% starting the day, and then it doesn't work for the first hour or so while the sun refills it. This is going to depend on like time of year, where you are, where it's placed, all of those types of things. But now I can get like the sun in the morning on one side of the roof and then the sun in the second half of the day on the other side of the roof. So that would definitely be a big benefit. And they say it has like instant wake available. So it's going to like just turn on instantly, even faster than the current ones. I've been really impressed with Bird Buddy. I think the fact that they added like high resolution video and all these other things to models they already had on the market for an extended period of time just through firmware updates is insane. So yeah, I'm all about it. So if you're interested, Bird Buddy 2 launching later this year. Okay, wrapping this episode up, let's go ahead and put a bow on it. I want to talk about a new product that is launching, I think, on Tuesday in the MagSafe realm of things. It is an entirely new company, though the product itself isn't entirely new. So the company is called BMX, but it's like Better Mobile Experience, I want to say, is what that is kind of like standing for. And there's a charging line, power line. And they're starting with MagSafe batteries. So you guys know how much I love MagSafe and Qi 2. I know some of you don't. I got your emails, but I still like them. So we're going to talk about just a little bit here. But these are their new SolidSafe batteries. You guys probably have seen a lot in the news on Apple Insider. There's been a lot of fire issues relating to battery packs, and it's getting alarming. I've even been on like flights recently where the speaker, they tell you at the beginning, if you have a battery, you need to like be holding it your entire plane ride. You can't like leave it in your backpack up in the top. You have to like be aware of it and be monitoring it the entire time you are flying. And they don't want you to charge at the beginning or the end of the flight while you're going up or going down, because of all these issues relating to safety and battery packs. So it's concerning. So we've seen a few companies start to look into and start doing solid state batteries, which are much more reliable and safe. Like, you can take these things, like open them up and stab them a bunch of times and nothing's going to happen. Whereas if you did that to a lithium ion one, you're going to see sparking and spitting and all things that you shouldn't see, like probably catching on fire, which is the problem. So BMX is starting with these SolidSafe batteries. I have them on the video if you're watching the video, but these are 5,000 milliamp hour batteries. I have the titanium black as well as the gold in my hands. So I can describe them for you for the people who are just listening. Basically, it's kind of like the black one and the gold one, kind of like just a metallic looking finish. The bottom of the front has a tiny little display. It's a full color display that shows you things like your percentage remaining of your battery life. It'll also show your input or your output wattage, all that kind of stuff, which I always find interesting. I love to know like how fast my phone is charging, other than just like a general percentage like on my phone. Like, it actually gives you like the wattage output and the wattage input, which I think is handy. USB-C, it's USB-C port right on the bottom of it. The back is a very nice like soft touch silicone. Mine is even like, they say they're even upgrading it for like the full production run here. So mine was like an early sample, so it's going to be upgraded to a better soft touch silicone, which offers better grip on the back of my phone. So like, I have my iPhone 16 Pro here. It holds on really well as is. Like, this is fine to me. I don't have any qualms with this at all. Like, this works great. But it's going to stick on even better with an upgraded silicone on it. Then there's like a nice little cable lanyard thing that comes with, so you can use this to put on like the side of a bag, whatever. But the cable itself, or the lanyard itself, is actually a cable. Oops, I dropped it. But this is a full USB-C cable. It's like small little jumper cable, which is really handy because you're going to get like your Qi 2 speeds of like 15 watts over MagSafe, but you can plug in and get faster charging, probably at least 20 watts over the cable. So that's nice to have both options for, but I just like that they're building it in that way into a little lanyard. So that's a little nice bonus add-on for this thing. They're launching as a crowdfunding campaign, I want to say, I believe, on Tuesday. And I think these are really nice. I think they did a really good job on their first product. There's nothing like, wholly unique really about this. Like, we've seen displays on battery packs, we've seen MagSafe battery packs, I've seen even at least one solid state one, but it's something that is still very rare. I think they have a lot of good pedigree going into this, and I really like their first product here. I'm really excited to see what else that they come out with. So if you guys are interested in kind of following along with them, or if you need like a MagSafe battery pack, these are nice. They're pretty slim, not the slimmest, but for new solid state ones that are very, very safe, you don't have to worry about leaving them in your car or anything like that. Check these things out. I will try to update the notes of the show with the Kickstarter and stuff, or the crowdfunding, or wherever you can buy these things after they're live. Maybe I'll just put the website for the actual launch, and you guys can check it out from there. But yeah, they're really interesting. So that does it for this episode. That is it. We've had a lot of news this week. I have not stopped talking for for over 40 minutes now. My voice is dry, so I'll leave you guys to it. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Thank you, of course, for listening. If you guys have any questions at all, you can send them over to me. You can find me at andrew@appleinsider.com. You can find me over on Twitter at Andrew_OSU. I'm also on like Threads and Blue Sky, like all the social platforms. You can also email me at andrew@appleinsider.com. You can leave a video or a comment on the video version of this podcast, which you can watch at youtube.com/HomeKit Insider. Otherwise, leave the podcast a 5, 10, 100-star rating on your podcast player of choice. And I'll see you guys all in the next episode.